तो क्या देख लिया, we had a graph of a toy car that was rolling down a ramp. तो हमने उसके तीन parts को discuss कर लिया. Constant velocity was being shown by the horizontal part of the line. Then the distance traveled was shown by the area under the line or the area under the graph. Area under the line or graph जो velocity time graph का होता है, that always shows you distance. So the area under the graph in velocity time graph shows you distance, but the gradient would always show you acceleration. Remember that जो gradient है itself, that is going to show you acceleration. इसलिए ये जो line sloping downwards थी, the line sloping at the end and the line sloping at the start. At the end आपके पास acceleration decrease कर रही थी, at the start acceleration was increasing. लेकिन straight line आपको क्या show करती है, यहाँ पे आपकी acceleration was zero. Zero acceleration means that your velocity was constant. That doesn't mean that the velocity is also zero. The velocity was remaining same क्योंकि let's say यहाँ पे velocity 40 थी, and at time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, after 5 hours the velocity remained 40, which means acceleration was zero. Here we also talked about another MCQ where the average velocity of a toy car is given by the distance moved divided by the time taken, and this would be your correct answer. Next, we have a theoretical question. Question number 2. A racing cyclist practices by riding around a track. A student wants to find the average speed of the cyclist. Describe a method that the student could use to find the average speed. So, average speed का कैसे हम एक experiment बता सकते हैं? Now, we are going to describe a whole method जिस तरह वो जो student है, he can find the average speed. So, what do we need for average speed? Average speed का formula होता है total distance divided by total time. So we first need the total distance. So the student should first measure the total distance and also measure the total time. Moreover, you should also mention the appropriate measuring instrument. जैसे कि time can be measured by a stopwatch. आप starting और stopping time देख लें, initial time और final time. इसके अलावा you can also find the distance by a trundle wheel. ठीक है, उस तरह आपके पास लेंथ आ जाएगी. Now when you have the distance and the time, you can calculate average speed, calculate the average speed. But this is not enough. For more accuracy, repeat the experiment. Repeat the experiment more than 3 to 4 times. You have 3 to 4 times ले लेंगे, then get an average value by finding mean. Mean क्या होता है? Mean is that when you have 3 to 4 values, you divide them, you add them all up and then divide by the number of values, you get the mean value कि आपका average क्या आ रहा है by repeating the experiment. तो इस तरह आपका ये हो जाएगा. You have to mention the apparatus, result, method, क्या क्या चीजें measure करनी है, what should be the same and stopwatch same using the formula, distance over time. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आप ये mention कर सकते हैं that use the formula of finding average speed, which is distance over time, and then the student will get the answer. यहाँ पे आपने इसको mention करना है. An aeroplane takes 2 minutes to travel the short distance between airports on 2 islands. The graph shows how the speed of the aeroplane changes as it takes off, flies across the sea, and lands on the other island. तो 3 parts में आपका graph divided है of an aeroplane. When it takes off, ये part A of the graph is when it is taking off. आपके पास जो speed है, speed was actually increasing in the first part. Then it flew across the sea. When it was flying across the sea, I'll call it part B. It had a क्या था? It's a speed time graph. जब भी आपको speed time graph या velocity time graph होता है, the horizontal line shows 2 things. Number 1, acceleration is 0. Number 2, the speed or velocity is constant. Part C of the graph, when it is landing on the other island, ये आपको दिखा रहा है कि it is decelerating और जो आपको velocity है वो भी decrease कर रही है. यहाँ पे it was accelerating when it was taking off और यहाँ पे acceleration आपके पास 0 थी. When it is flying across the sea, the aeroplane travels at a constant speed, जो कि हमने part B से indicate किया है with a horizontal straight line. Use the graph to answer the following question. State the value of the constant speed. तो constant speed कितनी थी? हम देख लेते हैं. This is the straight line. The straight line आपके पास आ रही है around, it's 42. 42 meter per second was your constant speed. The area where the line was actually straight, वो आपके पास क्या है, ये constant speed. यहाँ से हमने देख लिया, it is 42, क्योंकि one box जो है, one box represents 5. तो 5 का भी अगर हमने आधा किया तो that is 2 more, तो 42 would be your correct value for the constant speed of the aeroplane. Calculate the acceleration of the aeroplane at the start of the journey and give the unit. Acceleration का formula क्या होता है? V minus U over T. Final, और हमने बताना है at the start of the journey. Which part do we have to talk about? A, B or C? हम A वाले part को देंगे. At the start of the journey, the maximum speed, the final speed was 42. The initial speed was 0. Time कितना लगा इसको? 1. कितने boxes हैं? 5, 10, 15, 20. So the total time it took was 15 seconds. ये मैंने ग्राफ से बताया है. One box represents me. हमने सिर्फ इस एरिया को देखना है, ये वाला जो एरिया. तो टाइम आपके पास है 15. फाइनल वेलोसिटी क्या थी? 42. इनिशियल वेलोसिटी एट द स्टार्ट वाज 0. टाइम कितना लगा? टाइम ड्यूरेशन टू रीच द स्पीड फ्रॉम 0 to 42. 0 से लेके 42 तक उसको कितना टाइम लगा? 5, 10, 15 सेकेंड्स लगे. तो टाइम हो जाएगा 15. And the answer for your acceleration would be 2.8. तो यहाँ आप लिखेंगे acceleration है 2.8 और unit क्या होता है acceleration का? ms minus 2. Calculate the total distance that the aeroplane travels. अब velocity time graph में जो total distance होता है वो होता है आपके पास area, जो आपके पास ग्राफ का एरिया है, और हमने टोटल डिस्टेंस निकालना है, which means A, B and C तीनों कंपोनेंट्स को हम ऐसे करके अगर डिवाइड कर दें, now can we calculate the total distance easily? पहले पार्ट का कैलकुलेट कर लेते हैं. नेम इट पार्ट 1, ये मेरा पार्ट 2 है एंड दिस इज माय पार्ट 3. द फर्स्ट ट्रायंगल हाफ इनटू बेस इनटू हाइट. बेस उसकी हो जाएगी 15, हाइट हो जाएगी 42. पहला पार्ट हो जाएगा 1/2 into the base 15 into its height 42 plus we have a rectangle. इसकी बेस कितनी है? फ्रॉम 15 टू यहाँ तक क्या आ जाता है इसका? 15 से लेके 95 तक. 15 से लेके 95, तो 95 minus 15 क्या हो गया? 80. Base would be 80 multiplied by 42, which is the height again, plus another triangle half into base क्या है इसकी? If we start from 95, it ends at 120. तो 120 minus 95 क्या हो जाएगा आपके पास? 25. ठीक हो गया. तो बेस हो जाएगी 25 और हाइट क्या है? हाइट अगेन जो आपके पास हाइट है वो स्टिल 42 ही है. So the total answer that you would be getting would be 4200 meters. Each airport has a runway that is about 500 meter long. हर एयरपोर्ट में एक रनवे होता है and its length is 500 meter long. When it lands, the speed of the aeroplane is 40 meter per second. Explain why the airline should not use an aeroplane that has more mass and needs a higher speed for landing. अब हमें पता है higher the mass, lower the speed. जितना ज्यादा mass होगा उसके लिए रुकना भी मुश्किल होगा. Because if you remember, stopping distance क्या था? Stopping distance was affected by the mass also. मैंने आपको बताया था that if I compare a car and if I compare it with a truck, which of them is going to stop faster? अगर आगे कोई हैजर्ड, अगर एक बंदा रोड क्रॉस कर रहा है आगे, would a car stop more easily or would a truck stop more easily? Obviously a car would stop earlier. A truck with a higher mass would take more time to actually come to a stop position. तो हम यहाँ पे एक्सप्लेनेशन देंगे कि stopping distance is affected by speed or mass. Higher the mass, more the time needed to stop. More the time needed to stop, more the stopping distance. ज़्यादा distance चाहिए होगा उसको stop करने में. So more would be the क्या? Stopping distance. इसके अलावा obviously for a heavy plane to stop, distance would be greater, hence a longer runway would be needed. greater, which means longer runway चाहिए होगा उसके लिए. तो ये बात है. So you can also, आप ये कह सकते हैं कि this is all that you have to answer in this question.